What's good with it? Welcome back to my channel. So, right now we're witnessing the current takedown of rapper Young Thug. And I'm going to give my opinion on what I think this means for Young Thug, YSL going forward, and just the music game in total. And also, going forward. So, first of all, I want to say that I believe that there are three parties involved in the Young Thug takedown. So, first, I would say that the first party is a few rappers slash street dudes, out of Atlanta, who know Young Thug for what he really is and how he's been moving since he first came into the game to get to the position that he's at right now. So I'll say, so that's the first group. You got rappers slash street niggas out of Atlanta who really know what Young Thug is about and the devious tactics and the way he's been moving. You know what I mean? So, and I would say this is actually the most genuine group. That's the first group. The second group is social media, which basically is everyone who, the average person who has a social media account, you dig? Which is most people, who love to see people rise and fall and enjoy both parts equally. You know what I mean? And especially the falling part. You know what I mean? Lately, and recently, a lot of people on social media, like I would say for the past 4 or 5 years, they really have been enjoying the fall of celebrities. You dig? Whether good or bad. So that's the second part. And the third part is, I would say, is, the same Fulton County DA's office that prosecuted him with this whole trial. You know what I mean? Because, like, and there is no one who would be able to access all these leak calls from jail from him other than, someone obviously with the government, the local government. And then from what I know, you would also have to get some kind of warrant from the judge to even make something like this happen. And it would probably take time to even do all that legally. So I think that the same DA that prosecuted him, and they're now doing some behind, uh, some back play, doing some probably legal stuff, sneaking out all these leak calls, and just finding out the calls where he is speaking specifically about rappers and people that the average person online is gonna know to discredit him, run his reputation down, and also prove why they brought the whole case about to the public, because the public ain't really too concerned with legalities. You know what I'm saying? All like for the most part, they're more concerned about like someone's public image and someone being snaky and talking behind people's back. It's easier for people to agree that this person should be persecuted. It's easier to prove that, than just having all these crimes that this person might have done. Like, well, all the cases now, like how we've seen, like, we're not saying that any of these people are 100% innocent, but like with R. Kelly and Diddy and all the other people who have had like big legal cases, you see that in social media is where uh, all the slander usually starts to happen, and then they bring the case forward. With Young Thug, it didn't happen like that. We just found out all about this through the whole RICO case. So now it seems like they're trying to go with that aspect. Well, thinking that they didn't get the exact outcome that they wanted, because maybe they didn't play the ruin someone's character through social media. So they're probably using this as a second-hand tactic right now. You know what I mean? So I'm thinking that this has to be coming from the DA's office, all these leak calls. You dig? So those are the three parties I'm going to say are involved in the Young Thug takedown. So let's get back to it. We got Rapper slash street niggas out of Atlanta who know that Young Thug is a slimy person, and they want him removed at the game for good reasons. You know what I mean? For good reasons. Mainly that for good. Okay, let me just okay. So, rappers slash street niggas out of Atlanta. Two, social media. Three, the Atlanta DA's office. So these are the three groups who are currently working right now to bring down Young Thug, and all together, they're it's pretty successful. They're actually doing a good job, and I think actually Young Thug is going to fall. You know what I mean? No matter how many interviews he tries to do, saying that I wasn't snitching or that I wasn't really going behind everyone's back. At this point, I don't think any of that can help. You know what I mean? The people have spoken. The people have spoken, and he might be able to keep it from happening as quickly as it will, but no, his whole stardom is gonna fall. And I'm not necessarily saying that that's a bad thing because me, I've actually a lot of things that everyone is saying right now, I've kind of held these opinions since the beginning. You know what I mean? Since the beginning with him coming out and having that whole barter stick situation, I felt like, yo, why are you trying to do tune shit like that? Then also seeing how when him and Rich Homie blew up, you know what I mean? I enjoyed Rich Homie's music more, you know what I mean? But I did think Young Thug had some good songs here and there. But that whole fallout and seeing how it led to Rich Homie being ostracized, which I always knew was 100% because of Young Thug, even though people would try to say, oh, Rich Homie had a bad deal and he was trying to get at this. I'm like, no, I realized what Young Thug was on from the beginning, and I'm like, no, he definitely was putting stuff in people's ear, telling people not to work with Rich Homie, you know what I mean? And that's why from literally after that whole fallout, what big rappers had a song with Rich Homie Quan? None. Like the only features that Rich Homie Quan was really getting was from Quando Rondo and maybe one other artist who wasn't that big. But since that whole fallout with unless y'all can tell me, but since his fallout with, and RIP to Rich Homie, with Young Thug, I can only think of Quando Rondo being a feature on any of his songs. And then a few other people who just started coming up in Atlanta. So no one who was that big. You dig? So I've seen how Young Thug did that whole, you know what I mean, slimy move with Rich Homie. And then after that, Young Thug kind of was on a little hiatus, or he was just kind of doing club songs here and there. But then he really rose to prominence after Lil Baby and Gunna came out. And not only do I feel like that saved his career, those two being as good as artists as they were, helped him, you know what I mean, build the YSL to what it is, and made him be a more prominent figure in the game. Being that not only did Young Thug blow up Rich Homie a few years ago, and then had this, you know what I'm saying, kind of big old beef with Lil Wayne. He also now had two big rappers in the game who were basically his little proteges, you know what I mean, since they looked at him like as a bigger brother. So all that helped him become what he is now. You know what I'm saying? So all the things that the street slash rappers in LA, the ones who see him as being divisive, I'm pretty much agreeing with them on that front because I've held those same opinions, you know what I mean, since the beginning. I've seen all this for what it was. You dig? So that's that group, which I feel is the most genuine. Then we got social media, which really isn't genuine at all. They're just going to ride with whoever looks like they're winning. And it looks like the anti-campaign is really what's winning right now. So, but in that, this is also the biggest group because this includes everybody to a certain extent. You know what I'm saying? The highest, the highest, the biggest group is obviously going to be the social media group. You know what I mean? And then you got the backhanded work of the, you know what I'm saying, the DA's office doing what they're doing now. It has to be them. It couldn't be anyone else. So that's everyone who's involved in taking Young Thug down, and the reasons. You know what I mean? And then also, let me tell y'all why. So then also, the thing is, the whole Rico situation happened, and it necessarily wasn't a bad thing because crime was going crazy in Atlanta. You know what I mean? And not to say all that is related to YSL or Young Thug in any way, but it's like, did that play a part? Yes, because when you're a rich rapper with influence who has connections with people who, you know what I'm saying, are, you know what I mean, living that street life, and you're, you know what I'm saying, going back to their section, and, you know what I'm saying, you telling them to basically wear your flag, and now what things that they're doing, they're kind of like repping what your company's saying, like, oh, okay, so yeah, YSL is a music organization, but you have a music organization, but basically, since you rock with us, we're gonna use it as a street organization for us. So, and we got yo backing, since you kind of, you know what I mean, you rock with us, you give us money here and there. So now we gonna commit all these other crimes over here off of your name, you dig? And now, so I think Young Thug didn't really understand that. To a certain extent, he did understand, but there are probably some parts of it where he didn't understand how his own influence is also, you know what I'm saying, emboldening a different section of people to, you know what I'm saying, run the streets acting reckless, you dig? Not only to say that he also had his little beasts going on with people here and there, other rappers, you know what I'm saying, like Wyeth and Lucci, where he did, you know what I'm saying, probably send some of those people who were, you know what I'm saying, repping his, you know what I'm saying, squad on the streets to go handle situations. Because we do know part of the that indictment was that he tried to get young YFN Lucci killed in prison. He got him stabbed up. And then whatever happened with that whole him renting a car, and then people ended up going to a shooting out of the car. So his hands was involved here and there, he did. But outside of that, I'm pretty sure he didn't know all the things that all those people were doing under his name. But were you still helping influence that, whether you knew 100% or not? Yes, you were. So, like, what I could see the DA's office trying to like really entice people with saying like, okay, we understand y'all didn't get what we were saying that he was doing to really make the streets bad, but I guess now if we just run his name through the mud, you guys will basically just accept that we were right to a certain extent. And yeah, because now you got all the other, you know what I'm saying, snitches and rats, you dig? Like, hey, you know what I'm saying, that's what they did. That's what they did. They admitted. Like, so you got YSL, Woody, and Mondo, and all these other guys coming out the woodwork saying, hey, man, you influenced us. You made us do all this. And I always laugh when a grown man tries to say that he had no choice doing what he did. You know what I'm saying? But, you know what I'm saying, you got all these guys, you know what I mean, coming out the woodwork. You know what I'm saying? Now that it does look like he's falling, giving their opinion, saying that, oh, yeah, this all was your fault. The Rico was your fault. Yeah, we had no choice. We didn't want to be involved in this. You made us do all this. You know what I mean? So we got all that going on now. And the you know what I'm saying, media and social media is loving it. And you know what I mean, this is how you influence social media. It's just, you know what I mean. So this is the best way for all parties that do want the end of Young Thug to come. Which I'm also saying I'm not against. I'm not against. I'm just breaking it down the right way. I'm just giving y'all the real take on what's really going on. Now I'm the one who's really gonna give it up because I actually know this music stuff for real. I know all this music stuff for real. Like, y'all can see I react to music because I know about all these artists. I know about all this music. I know the origins of all these people. Not just off of no super studying. It's because I enjoy his music, you did, and I just, you know what I mean, and I pick it up when I hear it, and I know I've seen all the interviews of everybody, and I just know, you know what I'm saying, how this whole game works. So that's why I already this is none of this is new to me. Outside of these leak calls, you know what I mean. Nothing of this is new to me. And also, another reason is what the leak calls of the DA's office is also doing is showing. It's kind of giving up the inside information on the music industry too as well, because now you can kind of see the ripples between Drake and Future Metro Boomin off of the last calls that came out, and then also hearing about how Thug said he was paying for Gunna's album to go number one, but that's basically what every label does. They pay for all the fake streams of every rapper that you know right now. They're all getting fake streams. So it's kind of giving the inner workings of that. It also exposed Young Thug talking about Lil Baby and Q quality controls deal that it had. So not only is Thug, like, you know what I'm saying, talking behind people's back and stuff, he's also like, he's someone who's really tapped into the music game to where just him having casual conversations, you're able to see, get some exposure on how the music game really works. And I don't know, maybe that might play into the DA's agenda, maybe later on in the future with something that they got going on coming up, maybe involving other people, not even Atlanta or YSL in particular, just maybe the CEOs of some of these companies. So they're you know what I'm saying, playing this well, you know. But yeah, that's my take on all of this. So other than the last part is, and then what else? What is this all going to lead to? I think this is all going to lead to, um, in the whole rap perspective. I think now the young kids, they're basically viewing that all these rappers is cap, no one is street, and they got no reason to try to even respect anyone who claims some street stuff, which isn't a bad thing. And I think this is also going to lead to hip hop in general just kind of finally divorcing from the streets and street culture in regards to criminal activity 100%, but swag wise no, which is a good thing. So I think we're now witnessing in the complete divorce from rap and the streets, kind of like when rap first started early in the 80s, in the early 80s, when it was Will Smith and all the guys before who were just kind of on the hippity hop thing. Not that kind of, not that necessarily that kind of rapping, but genre wise, yeah, I think we're going to see the complete, you know what I'm saying, removal of the streets from rap. You know what I'm saying, here forward, like I said, which is not a bad thing at all. So, yes, Young Thug was a divisive person. And in this new world and where things are headed, people don't want division anymore. They don't want someone who is trying to divide everybody. Everybody wants to work together, which is good for everybody. So I look at it as this is going to happen regardless. The only thing Young Thug can do is slow it down, but the people have spoken, and they don't want anyone in the game who is going to cause division, and they don't want to be so connected to the streets anymore. And that's where things is going. So all these separate parties are all playing a role, and it's going to lead to basically the demise of Thugga Baby. You dig? That's my take on it. You feel me? But let me know what y'all think in the comments. You dig?